Popular myth has a tendency to focus on what the men of the West were, leaving the impression that women were just their servants. No doubt, when the first wagon trains left, some women were reluctant to leave their comfortable homes for the almost certain hardships of the trail. But undoubtedly the same was true for some men. The reality was, it didn't take long for Western fever to infect everyone with the same lust for adventure and freedom. In an era when the ideal notion for womanhood was all ruffles and domesticity, the migration west created challenging new roles for women that only the courageous dared to fill. While writers and artists were romanticizing the West as a man's frontier, pioneer women were busy making their own version of history.
It rains and snows. I carry my babe and lead, or rather carry another, through snow, mud, and water almost to my knees. It is the worst road. Sometimes I had to place my babe on the ground and help to keep the wagon from turning over. Elizabeth Smith Gear, 1847.
This year I set out to prove that a woman could ranch if she wanted to. I have tried every kind of work this ranch affords, and I can do any of it. Eleanor Pruitt Stewart, Wyoming Homesteader, 1909.
I think a dozen western states gave the vote to women before the first eastern state did. So there's some very real gains politically and socially for women in the West. They first served on juries in the West. They didn't face the older established structures and institutions that were predominant on the East Coast. The West was fluid and dynamic, and it was the kind of environment, therefore, that gave great opportunity to men and women alike.
When women went west, there was no way for them to have imagined the hardships and challenges they had encountered. It's a tribute to their underlying strength and spirit that they not only rose to meet those challenges, but at the same time overcame the customs that defined them as the weaker sex. These extraordinary women were trailblazers in every sense of the term.